Morales, Black Film and TV. Hello, Mr. Rashad. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Obviously, the minute the trailer first came out, it got such much applause from the web, from social media. They were just like, look at that outfit. you know, I was like, they did her good. So, before we go into the costume and all that stuff, obviously, we're seeing you a lot more on TV, on screen. Uh, as I always ask, what is it about the script that made you say yes?
Oh, it is so much fun. It's beautiful. It's heartwarming. It's magical. It's original. It's everything that you look for in work that you want to do, you know. And this one, he just has so much joy in it. And it's my first Christmas project too.
Has it really? All this time, no one has ever wanted you to be in a Christmas movie.
No. And it's good. Things come when they should and don't when they shouldn't.
you know, so when you get this call and you're reading the script and obviously there's a lot for you to do and not to do because it's a big ensemble. How was working with David and exploring what he wanted the grandmother to be and telling the story.
It was wonderful working with David. He is a great collaborator. He's visionary. Yes, he's a great creator. And on top of those two things, he's also a great collaborator. And that made it triple fun. Because, well, really what we did in the studio for narration, that was some of the most, I'd say in this project, that was some of the most intense and specific work that I had to do with this project.
Then there's the outfits. You're not just some old grandmother coming out of her room and talking to her kids about go to sleep and stuff like that. You come out in this outfit that's like, oh, okay, she's well-to-do and she's telling them a story. When you get on set, and granted, I think depending on the film, you never know what kind of outfits they're going to give you to wear. But what did you make of the outfit they gave you?
I had no idea. I had no idea. I knew that the story was beautiful. I knew that that was good. I knew that I would enjoy working with the story from having read it. But when I showed up in England and was brought to the set and took a look at the set, I thought, ooh, okay. And then when I was taken to the wardrobe department and I saw the sketches of all the wardrobe all of it, okay. And I thought, oh, this is something. And when I went into the fitting room and there was this gown, this garment, I was like, you never ask if you can take the thing with you. But
do you ever get this dressed up for your own holidays, Christmas time?
Not anymore. No, but she's grand, honey. She's like the rest of the film. The woman is grand. The film is grand. The people are grand. And that's by design. It is grand.
There's a moment in there where, you may have to work with a little bit of green screen. How was doing that? Was that a first for you?
Absolutely it was. And so when the film was offered to me, and they were making their final negotiations, right? My agent said to me, well, and you won't have to, and I'm not going to spoiler alert here, you won't have to use the green screen. You won't have to do that. And I asked, why not? Well, we told them that you probably wouldn't want to do that. And I said, well, I think you need to go back and tell them that I do want to do that because that's one of the reasons I want to be in here because I want to do that.
I tell your peoples now you're game for anything, After seeing you in Black Box, I was like, oh, she's game. She's just letting it out. We're seeing all sides of you that we didn't see before. This is a big ensemble, and you don't get to interact with everybody. You've worked with some of them before, and I'm thinking, oh, Phylicia and Anika were in For Color the Girls, but I don't remember if you had any scenes together. And so there's a number of people you've worked with before. And it's just a big set. Was there a moment where the whole cast was together and you got to talk to each other?
Yes, for the table read, We were together for the table read, and that was quite an adventure too. That was extraordinary because that's where we heard the music.
Mhm. The
Oof.
music is amazing. The music is out there. It's like I saw John Debney did the score, but when you hear the songs, and it had that feel of stage like, when you're like, when you're looking at a musical, it's like, oh, when they're gonna burst in song. And and knowing David Talbert, and I haven't seen all of his productions on stage, but I can feel like, okay, he's bringing some of his magic that he's created on stage to screen. you
Absolutely.
know and you've been a director, you've been in musicals. I remember you in Blue. you know so what was it like when you finally saw the whole product, and you're seeing the music you heard before, but you're now seeing it for the first time as a finished product?
You want to talk about magic? That is magic.
Mhm.
That is magic. I every now and then Lynn Talbert, who is a producer on this project, would send me little clips to look at. And I thought, wow, this is magical. Now that was just looking at little segments, little clips. But when you see this thing in its entirety, the sheer scope of it, who knew? But that's what happens when you have a studio behind you that says to the creator, don't write to budget, write to your imagination.
That's
Write to your
every
vision.
filmmaker wants to hear that. Every filmmaker wants to hear, don't worry about the budget, we got it, don't worry about it. Overtime, don't worry about it,
No,
just keep going.
they believed in this project. They saw it and they believed in it. And they believed in David.
Mhm.
They believed in David and his creative capacity, and they've supported him in expanding it, and continuing to refine every single element up through the time they put the final. And I'm just saying this because who knows, he might wake up tomorrow morning and decide to do something else. I don't know. The man's mind is so expansive, he creates like that.
you know you know, this is the time period where we're getting a lot of Christmas movies, but this one is beyond just your average Christmas movies that you're seeing on cable platforms, films. What do you think sets this apart? You can't say you've seen every movie, but in your own vision, in your own mind, like you said, this hasn't been done before. What do you think sets this apart as far as other Christmas stories? Is there a message to get out of this?
I think that David I think it began with David putting the best of what he has known and experienced in life in this story, those things that are most meaningful to him. And he's carried his grandmother through into this story because this is what I learned on set, that his grandmother, when he was a young boy, his grandmother read to him all the time. So
Mhm.
you have it beginning with the grandmother. When you read to this is, and then and the cultural elements, the artistic and cultural elements, and the designers and work and workmen that are on this project that he has worked with, everyone a master in their own field. It's unbelievable. It's like, okay, so you got a collaboration of masters
Mhm.
working on this one project. What do you think you're going to get from that?
I get greatness. You
Yeah, you're
know,
going to get that. You're going to get
you
that.
know, in your life, were you ever read Christmas stories, or did you ever read Christmas stories, or do you think about reading Christmas stories after doing this movie?
Oh, sure. Growing up, it was always the night before Christmas and all through the house. No creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. Yeah, sure. I read to my own children, and yeah, this is this is what parents do. This is what people do. This is what teachers do. So reading literature has always been a great part of my own personal journey in life. My mother is a writer. I don't know if you knew that before. So I grew up with that discipline, that art form, because my mother was always writing.
Mm-hmm.
An appreciation for what it means to write, to create. And I have great appreciation for David because he and Lynn have nurtured this project for 22 years.
Really?
Oh,
Huh.
yeah. He wrote the first draft of this 22 years ago. And he's been nurturing this. Imagine this incubation period. Imagine this gestation period, I should call it. Imagine that.
It's almost like Forrest's character in the movie, working all these years and looking for that ingredient to finally say, I got it, you know? And everybody has that in them, like, I got an idea, but I'm missing something, and you never know when it's going to come along. And then all the pieces have to fit in for you to say, let's make it happen now while the timing is right, So yeah, so like having seen you in Black Box and seeing you in this, what do you want to do next? What sort of character would you want to play that's not the type of roles we would expect you to play?
I don't know.
You have an idea. It's like, hey, you just said right now, your agent was like, oh, she may not want to do this. So they have an idea as to like what you may want to do. So like, what is it like? Let's go off script. Let's just do something fun. You're like, hey, you got nothing to lose.
There's always more to do. And the truth of the matter is, if I ever said what it was, I'd probably fall short, because all I know is I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to expand. I want to continue to create. I want to continue to collaborate with creative people. I want to continue to offer service in this way. And so the way it has unfolded in my career was always in a way that I could never have imagined. I couldn't tell you what the vehicle is going to be. I don't want to try to put a limit on that, or I'll leave something out, because the things have been so wonderful. I couldn't have imagined it. So that I just learned to okay, what you do, Phylicia, is you keep at it. You stay ready. Stay ready. Like they say in David Makes Man, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay ready. Stay ready.
Speaking of David Makes Man, are you coming back for season 2?
I had hoped to, but I think this pandemic has, it kind of presents some challenges in terms of travel and safety issues. You have to you have to meet certain conditions for me to be able to do that. But I would love to, because I really enjoyed working in that as well. I love Terrell Alvin McCraney's work. I absolutely adore the cast of David Makes Man, and I mean the entire cast. What a great company of actors. What an exceptional project that is.
Before I let you go, the last time we spoke, you had recommended a couple of Asian and Turkish series to keep up with. And I looked at it. I think you mentioned Princess something. I forgot what it was.
This is young.
Yes. I had to look it up. I said, okay, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'll figure it out. What would you recommend now? Huh?
Did you look it up? Did you see it?
I got it clued in. When you watch these series now, because I think I want to watch it all in its one, like maybe one day, as opposed to like day after day after day.
Well, you'll be able to see it in one day because there's a lot of it in there. Okay, so along with Princess Lee Wei Young, I love Eternal Love.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a beautiful thing. That's fantasy in it too, but it's just a beautiful production. I love that. And then on the other end of that spectrum, there's a Turkish series that I like, Yunus Emre. Yunus Emre.
Okay, I'll make sure to look out for it. I got to have the patience to read the subtitles, make sure it's called quiet, but we'll make it so. So, hey, keep working. I want to see you in the next one, maybe some disastrously horror film, that's like, who knows, something totally different, like, oh, she's in it. Let's see what she does now. Good talking to you, Ms. Rashad. Have a good one.
Thank
you. Take care.
Bye-bye.